This is the Sunrise Report. This special presentation is brought to you by the Nebraska Farm Bureau. Now let's go to the grounds for today's Husker Harvest Days Sunrise Report. Here's Bryce Doeschot and Susan Littlefield.
Good morning from day number 2 of Husker Harvest Days. Today is September 11th of 2019.
It is going to be another beautiful day. We'll get more update on the weather coming up, but more importantly, it is what today is. It is Patriots Day, and many folks are reflecting through social media as to what has happened, what and where they were on this day when the world stopped turning. For us, or at least for me, I think you were still in grade school. I was at Husker Harvest Days and getting ready to do a remote when things just literally got quiet. This entire show pretty much stopped. I remember people gathering around the radio, gathering around the TV at NC Plus's booth. I think they were one of the few that had a TV out here, and we watched in shock and awe and wondered where we were going to go next. And then when the word came that the president was in Nebraska and we saw the Air Force planes flying over the Husker Harvest Days Grounds, it made it a reality check, I think, for everybody. But I love how this country came together and how we have been able to forge forward. And now we've turned what was a really bad day, Bryce, into a day of positive, day of giving and doing of others.
Absolutely. We think of those who lost their lives on this day in 2002, and we'll spend some time today talking about that on this morning's Sunrise Report. We've got a packed show ahead as we bring you some of the behind-the-scenes special report, doing some dog demo. Finally, Susan, we'll check in with the Hula Hut on this morning's HHD Eats segment.
And this is because of Matt Jungmann.
It is, absolutely.
His breakfast go-to, so we're going to give it a try.
So we're looking forward to that. And like I said, Clay is going to be here in just a moment with the stock dog demonstrations that we look back to yesterday, but that's one of the unique aspects of Husker Harvest. All the demonstrations, you don't think of the dogs, though, first thing, so we're happy to put a spotlight on that. Have you seen them in action before?
I have here, and it's pretty amazing, because then I go home and I look at my dog and go, seriously? Why can't you do what these dogs are doing at Husker Harvest Days? It's a great opportunity for those in the livestock industry to get together post-state fair and talk a little bit about what they're learning, and so many great speakers yet today and into tomorrow.
Well, let's check in with Clay as he brings us this special report from yesterday.
As you make your way onto the Husker Harvest Day grounds, you get to see a lot of demonstrations, both in the livestock and on the crop side. But one of the first demonstrations you'll have a chance to see if you enter on the southeast side is the stonk dog demonstrations. I had a chance to catch up with Tim and Tanya Gifford, who talked to me more about the industry and explained that in rural America with a shrinking labor force, dogs are playing a
It's harder and harder for rural folks like us to find help, and good qualified help is really getting hard to find. A good dog will take the place of 2 or 3 hired men on any given day. We've got a cow-calf operation, we've got some ewes, and we can just go do those things where it would take 2 or 3 of us in the past, 2 or 3 or 4 guys to do. 1 or 2 of us can do it with a couple of dogs and save on our labor. We spend a lot of money probably on dog food, but that's way cheaper than having a hired and tear up the equipment and come in drunk in the morning, you know. So
the first step is
go buy a dog from somebody that said it's out of working parents. Go watch those parents work. Go see what they do. Look at how they handle their stock. Look at the tails of the dogs that are the parents. Good quiet tail that's down is a really good sign of a good, confident working dog. And yeah, don't just don't go to Craigslist and buy a puppy and expect it to be a good working dog. Go look at what you're buying like you'd go look at a car or look at a tractor beforehand.
Reporting from the stonk dog demonstrations at Husker Harvest Days, I'm Clay Patton.
Today, and then today, Wednesday, will be, it'll be wall-to-wall people in here, so we're really excited to welcome them out.
Well, speaking of people...
Exactly right. If there is an iconic picture of Husker Harvest Days, it's those 50 flags greeting you as you walk in the gate. And then today, obviously September 11th, as you mentioned, happened during Husker Harvest Days when it was going on, and so it kind of jars you to think back to maybe where you were when that happened.
And for you, getting on an airplane.
Yeah, I was supposed to be flying to Memphis, Tennessee. I was actually standing in line at the O'Hare Airport when every phone at the desk rang and they had just grounded everything, and I was standing there waiting to get on an airplane that day.
It's amazing how things turn around. Speaking of coming to the show today, a wristband worth $100?
Yeah, we're really excited about that, and I should have talked about it yesterday, but your wristband that you get when you pay admission to come to the show, that is worth $100. So it's a great partnership with Titan and Graham Tire, and you take your wristband to the Titan exhibit, and they're going to give you a certificate that's good for $100 off your next purchase of Titan tires. So we are, doing our best in these tough economic times to partner with the exhibitors and help the farmers out.
And they take it one extra step because we have a tire auction for the FFA going on. We've got the folks at Stock Auction and Realty doing their auctions for St. Jude, so it just shows all the give back.
A lot of give back throughout the show that helps the people at the show. It's very direct, very local. The food drive that helps the local counties here. We're just thrilled to be any part of all that good that's being done.
So day 2, what's one of the biggest highlights for folks today?
I would say that if this wind kicks up, we had just a little sprinkle, but we didn't do any baling yesterday, and we've got a great stand of alfalfa, so we're going to kind of go nuts in the haying demonstration at 2 o'clock today if everything lines up. But the field demonstrations were great yesterday. Don't miss the great big flag at the southwest corner again too. That's a really cool view.
And we should mention again, when folks are looking for the hay demo, we had a lot of folks go, where to go?
Yeah, where to go? It's not there. It's corn stalks. It is on the north side of the grounds, different than it's been maybe the last 15 years.
All right, well, we've got more coming up. We're going to taking you up on your food recommendation for breakfast this morning too.
I've already had mine. They're just fantastic.
All right, thanks so much. Matt Jungmann is joining us today. We'll send it back to Bryce.
Thank you, Susan and Matt, for that report. Now everybody's got their eye on the weather. What's it going to do? Matt said a little windy today. We've got Bill Boyer.
Well, yes, Bryce, but we got to get through today first. It's going to be windy and warm today, cooler and breezy tomorrow, but look what's coming in between. Some severe storms are possible, probably after the show tonight and most likely after dark. We'll be dealing with some of those across the region. You can tell where it's already hit. Look at central and eastern Nebraska, well into the low mid-70s, 74 in Fall City. Compare that with 57 in Sharon and Sydney. That cold front's getting itself organized, and it's going to roll across our region later on tonight. 70s here across the region, 73 right here in Grand Island, 69 up in Loop City. Now, winds are not a story yet. They will become a story. Already in that 10 to 15 mile an hour range. They're going to be out of the south, pumping in some warm, humid air, and they're going to get gusty at times this afternoon. So it's going to be warm again, and it's going to feel humid as well. So temperatures in the low 70s here through the morning hours, low 80s. I think the strongest winds probably between noon and 5. We'll see those winds in the sustained maybe 15, 25 mile an hour gusts, maybe over 30, 35 at times, and temps top out into the mid 80s. But there are big changes coming. Let's take a look at Futurecast, and we're going to watch off to the west because this is where all the action is going to happen as we go through the daytime hours today. We have sunshine, windy conditions coming up out of the south. This is lunchtime. Now as we go through the afternoon and evening hours, storms get firing up in the Nebraska Panhandle. They're going to slide to the east. Look by tonight at midnight, they're getting right into the heart here of central Nebraska, most likely moving across the Husker Harvest Days campus as we go through the early morning hours, and by sunrise tomorrow, they should be down into the capital city. However, we do have a risk of severe weather today, right now, an enhanced risk. That is in the middle of the risk category, but an enhanced risk of severe storms primarily off to our west. Notice, though, we are in this marginal risk of severe storms. Wouldn't be surprised to see that maybe upgraded a little bit throughout the day. Precip going to start off in the Panhandle, and look what happens as we get into this warm, humid air. Over an inch of rain possible in many locations here in south central Nebraska, including some that don't need it. This particular forecast model calling for over 3.5 inches of rain in Lexington. Highs, a tale of two parts of the state again, upper 80s to near 90 for most of us. 69 for a high in Shad, 7 for your high today. Here come the storms tonight, most numerous after dark and overnight. Breezy conditions as well. Some of the storms again could be severe. Highs in the mid 60s. We're going to keep the winds around tomorrow, but look what happens to our temperatures. We fall into the mid 70s. It's not going to be nearly as humid, and it will be breezy at times, 15 to 25 mile an hour winds. That's going to make it feel even cooler. But I think after the last couple of days, any kind of cool down we can get at Husker Harvest Days, certainly going to be a welcome relief, Bryce.
I could not agree more, Bill. Thank you so much for that report.
75 tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to that.
I am too.
I'm not gonna lie.
But today's an exciting day because there's so many things going on. We'll have FFAers here learning more about agriculture. I got to give hats off to those ag teachers. This is not a day out of school.
No.
They've got homework.
It's a lot of work for them to keep track of the kids. I was one of them at one point, so I can tell. I can say how much work that is for the ag teachers to keep track of people.
And we really enjoy when they come to our booth and a chance to talk to them and answer the questions and sign the pieces of paper and take the pictures to prove that they did the work. Well, we're going to catch up with our camera gal, Hannah. Hannah, of course, is over at our sponsor, Nebraska Farm Bureau, and I want to know, is she going to take off in this John Deere Gator?
Let's check that out.
Well, good morning, Bryce and Susan. We are here at the Nebraska Farm Bureau booth with Phil Erdman. We're sitting in a Gator. Tell me, why are we sitting in a Gator?
Well, there's no better place to sit at Husker Harvest Days than in a Gator, right? And this Gator is from our friends at John Deere. This is a partnership between Farm Bureau and John Deere. We're going to let people drive this home. So people can enter to win this Gator. As you can see, it's got air conditioning.
We need that today.
And so today and these couple days are going to be super hot. So it is an amazing machine, and it's a great partnership that we have with John Deere. John Deere is a benefit partner for Farm Bureau members. You can sign up for our rewards program, which gives our members discounts on tools. It gives them discounts on new equipment. And so in addition to opportunity to win this, they get an opportunity to save a little bit more money on their green paint.
Sounds like a pretty good deal. So let's talk about some other partnerships that you've got going on here at Husker Harvest Days.
Yeah, so I happen to have a sign here that talks about the Heartland Food Drive. And so we are a premier sponsor of this. We have been for the last few years. And what that gives us the ability to do is to get FFA students on the ground. So today is a huge day. The food drive. Last year, 101 FFA chapters participated in this. Thousands of pounds of foods were generated for the United Way here in Grand Island, and so we're excited to partner with them as well as Aurora Co-op. And so students will come to that front gate. They'll be able to bring their canned food items, and when they do that, between ourselves and Aurora Co-op, we'll pay for those students to be able to get into Husker Harvest Days.
We got one more thing to talk about. Let's pull this up and see what that is.
Yeah, so this is just kind of that reality that we believe in the future of agriculture, and we don't just say that. We think that that's important to invest. And so not only are we investing our time and energy into the food drive to make sure that those students get a chance to come to Husker Harvest Days and ultimately see us and our friends at Rural Radio, but we also do a number of activities with our friends at FFA through connecting chapters, through our Nebraska Farm Bureau Foundation, and as well as our work in Ag in the Classroom to make sure that that next generation of consumers, regardless of how old they are, know where their food is coming from. And so not only do we have that partnership with FFA, but we also have the partnership with the food drive here to get those FFA chapters onto the ground.
Well, there's a heck of a lot of things going on here at the Farm Booth Stand, which is number 50 at Husker Harvest Day. So if you come on down to Husker Harvest Day, swing by here and check out all these awesome partnerships going on. Back to you, Bryce and Susan.
Hey, thanks, Hannah, for that report. Check out the hardest working Farm Bureau employee over here, putting in the hours.
Good to see you guys. Good morning.
Good morning to you as well, Tita. What a fun segment. We appreciate the Farm Bureau for their sponsorship this year, as they're right next to us. So when you visit Farm Bureau's booth, grab a snow cone maybe as things warm up. Want to swing by our booth as well.
Oh yeah, go from one to the next, and we'll talk to you about what's happening in markets and everything that's going on in our booth.
All right, one of the favorite segments, fan favorite as well, where we feature a food group out here. This is the HHD Eats, and today's segment was inspired by Matt Jungmann.
It was. You know, he said this is his go-to place every single morning, and as he mentioned in his segment, he's already had his breakfast this morning from the Hula Hut.
Well, let's check in on HHD Eats for this morning.
Well, we're inside the Hula Hut. Cindy has joined us. We're going to do a little behind-the-scenes tour of what's going on as we film this. Day number one has been a busy day for you guys so far.
So busy today, yes. The weather's been perfect, and I bet we've doubled our crowd from last year. So
that's excellent to hear. Now, your menu is diverse. I'm told you have some of the best breakfast on the grounds. What do you serve for breakfast?
Breakfast is breakfast burritos. We have biscuits and gravy, and we have cinnamon rolls.
Excellent.
So. And lots of coffee.
And then throughout the day, you've got a couple of other items.
Gears, and we run into some brisket. We're well known for our brisket sandwiches, pulled chicken, hamburgers, and brats.
A few snacks as well as we move our way back to the staging area. I see some ice cream. Is that right?
Oh yes, we have malts for the kids. Wednesday's the best day for that, FFA day. So lots of malts and yeah.
A nice hot day like today, it's nice to get one of those molds. So tell us, the folks who are volunteering here, we can see some of them working here again on day one as we record this. But how many volunteers will help put this on?
Yeah, this takes an army to make this work. So every day we require at least 20 to 30 adults. We get about 30 average kids that come out. We support our athletic booster club. So our athletic director and teachers drive kids out, and they split shifts, and they just help us make food, serve food. It's really cool.
And Ryan, which athletic program we're supporting by coming here?
Grand Island Senior High. In Grand Island, it's our athletic booster club is what we are. So
I'm going to put you on the spot. Any idea how many years you guys have been doing this as a fundraiser?
This is our 9th or 10th year. I can't remember exactly. I think 10th year, actually.
And folks coming to the show can definitely stop by. You can't miss it on the one of the main central roads here, because out front you got a mannequin out there with a hula skirt on it. So certainly can't miss it. And we're looking forward to those breakfast burritos. So thanks so much for taking the time, giving us this behind-the-scenes tour.
Oh, what a fun report. That's a tough assignment.
Oh, can you imagine all those adults that commit to taking a day off of work to really support the youth? That's awesome.
They've been doing it for quite some time, as we heard in that video. We brought Barb on set because she does not get the recognition she deserves as she goes and gets these breakfast burritos for us in the morning. So thank you for doing that. You even brought us coffee this morning.
Yes.
You are the real MVP of Husker Harvest Days for us.
We could use a fill-up.
There you go.
As we get the coffee fill up, check out these burritos we grabbed this morning from the Hula Hut. And we thank them for their time yesterday showing us the ins and outs. Hannah gets a close-up on the burritos. They look delicious. You gonna eat one this morning?
Yeah, are you?
Most definitely. Barb, thank you for what you do and helping us out here at Husker Harvest Days. We sure appreciate you.
So when you come out, she's also in charge of the monogram money. So if your initials aren't there, just ask her what's up.
All right. I'm ready to eat a burrito.
All right.
We better wrap this up as we say goodbye on the Sunrise Report, brought to you by the Nebraska Farm Bureau. Here, day number 2 of Husker Harvest Days. Be sure you stop by, visit the Farm Bureau, and visit us right next to each other. A great partnership we have with them.
You bet. And if you think about it as you are headed out here, bring out a couple items to go for the food drive that's going to help a lot of local people in this area that need food as they continue with the school year and head towards the holidays as well.
All right. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see